And and yet another incredible development, because narcissism is a real thing. It really is. The sort of always needing attention all the time is an absolute real thing. So apparently, uh, Trump has decided to take down the East Wing of the White House, and I'm sitting here actually trying to figure out, or I should say, part of the East Wing. I mean, we don't really know too many details right now because, of course, nothing is announced, nothing is talked about. It just happens, People look up, and all of a sudden, it's just happening, and that's just the way it is. But at any rate, I'm struggling as I'm watching these photos, trying to figure out if this is the part of the house that you walk through. There are these Christmas receptions that happen every year. And in fact, all of that's getting planned out or should be right now. And there's like a hallway that you walk through on your way into that reception on the side of the White House where the Treasury Department is. It's almost like a Treasury Department entrance there. It's an entrance right near the Treasury Department. And then you walk in for the Christmas receptions. You end up in the East Room, but you walk in on the east side. And this is the east part of the White House, not the west side. But at any rate, that hallway is a pretty interesting hallway going over there. There's like a set of photos on the wall of Christmases past in the White House. And then there's all sorts of rooms with various Christmas decorations. And it looks like that is the part of the house that got demolished or is getting demolished right now. And but it's hard for me to tell from the photos. I have to go into DC and see for myself and walk on that side. It's definitely the Treasury Department side of the White House. But people are posting video and people are posting images, not only from the street, but apparently some of these images are taken from the Treasury Department, which of course would provide a much better angle. At any rate, incredible, absolutely incredible. And that there's no word about this. Apparently Trump had said that this ballroom that he wants to build would not impact that side of the house, or would not impact the current structure of the White House, which, of course, as most people know, I think is obviously a historic structure and a historic building. And I think people should have realized that something like this was likely to happen when they demolished the Rose Garden. So the Rose Garden getting demolished without any real conversation, all of a sudden it was just gone, right? And here we go again with the same type of thing. Why not the entire house? Why not the entire, White House? Like, what's stopping them from remodeling the White House into another building? Who knows? But this is a great example of how, you know, there's just this imaginary shield, around him. Nobody questions anything. His Republican sycophants don't say anything. Actually wonder sometimes how far can he go before they actually say something? You know, when do they say to themselves, well, wait a minute, this is it? And I would suspect after what we saw this weekend, the attack on Harry Sisson and everything else, I don't really think that these people have the guts to ever say anything no matter what happens. That's my guess. When you have military in the streets of America and you don't say anything, and you just don't say anything when you see law enforcement wearing masks, and we don't even actually know for sure if they're in fact law enforcement. That's an open question because we don't know who they are. If they're not identifying themselves by a name tag and a agency, it's kind of a guess at that point. But at any rate, these are the photos at the White House as of today. I'm sure that there'll be more photos tomorrow as people sort of get into position in the surrounding buildings. There's a hotel, the Washington Hotel is right there, and I suspect that there'll be some news organizations getting into the Washington Hotel to get a shot of this part of the house. It's hard to tell; these pictures are kind of close, but somebody who's been in the White House for the Christmas party through the what I think is the East Wing. Again, it's kind of unclear to me which exact section of the White House this is, but again, this is all to build a ballroom. At any rate, this is Lauren Burke, and I'll be back later with a live feed of the Kata Scott situation, which is unbelievably tragic out of Philadelphia. I'll be back soon.